Hello everyone. I'm making this video today just to share my experience with the speaking test basically in IELTS. I just gave it recently and I scored 8.5. My overall was 8, but in speaking I scored 8. And I want to talk about a few things about the speaking overall. I have heard many people saying about IELTS that you must have a very fantastic vocabulary or some bombastic words you should use to impress the person. But my experience was a little different. What I observed was that the main purpose behind testing your speaking skills is that whether communication is taking place or not, meaning you have understood the question from the other person and you replied to the point. He's not trying to test you whether you are speaking complicated sentences or not, because when you are going to an English speaking country and on the street, you might not meet a person who can understand your big jargons and bombastic words. It has to be simple yet understandable to others. So this is the purpose of using language. And I also have a language background. I did my master's and my MPhil in English linguistics. So I always felt that language is being the mode of communication. The main purpose of using one language is that you can pass your message to the other person, and the other person at the same time can understand you and answer your question, or at least talk to you. So when I was talking, the person who was asking me question, and believe me, I never used any big words. It was so simple. It was like talking to anybody on the street. So I used simple sentences. I did not speak very fast, and I did not try to make the person understand by speaking quite faster to let him know that see how much I know about English, or how much fast I can speak English. While speaking faster, sometimes it might be a bad thing because people from different countries who speak other language other than English might have accents, which might create some confusion to the person who is listening to you, because the person who is in front of you basically is a person from English speaking country. That is what happens mostly. So when it happens, I gave my IELTS in US, so that was my experience. But I want to make sure that people should not get this idea about speaking that you should be able to use big words and try to impress the person by speaking quite faster, using nice words. Words can be simple but understandable. The motive behind one communication is that what you are trying to say the other person understands, and what the other person is saying you are able to answer for that, or at least you can continue the dialogue. So that was my experience in IELTS, and I scored 8.5. I was very happy because I knew that it's going to be a good score, because the person was happy and we had a very nice conversation for almost 8 to 10 minutes, I guess, and he asked few things and I answered, and those were all general questions. He was not trying to know how much you know, but at the same time he was trying to know about my language skills, whether my grammar is correct, whether I'm making full sentences, whether I'm speaking clearly. So the people who are practicing about the language or trying to use it like not very frequently in real life, I would advise them to speak on any topic. At home, you can talk to your brother, your sister, your friend, your teacher. Just make some small conversations. This doesn't have to be big thing. This doesn't have to be about rocket science. You just talk about simple stuff and let it go. Just make simple sentences and try to communicate, try to give the message you are trying to, and also at the same time let the other person ask questions on something general. It's not going to be a very specific topic the person is going to talk to with you in real IELTS speaking test. So I advise you to do some communication at home, before you really practice IELTS with. And please don't believe in the fact that you can score good only when you use big words, difficult words. Sometimes difficult words creates difficult situation. That's my idea behind um, studied language. And also, once Bertrand Russell said that when the things are simpler, it's easier, and when it's easier, everybody enjoys it, so don't show overconfident, don't show under. No over, no under. Just be normal, be natural. Don't try to show something to the person, because sometimes people don't like overconfidence. So, my request to everyone who is trying to do the IELTS, just be yourself, be nice, be gentle, use simple sentences, but complete sentences, and no oh those things. People know that you are buying time, except you are trying to really put some more information into it, and you are trying to recollect that number or that particular piece of information. That is also understandable by anybody, that if you forgot a specific number you are trying to remember, then is okay. But most of the time, when people are not able to make sentences or not finding enough words to talk about, then we use all these gestures. That means you are buying time. So I request everyone not to get afraid or be nervous about that. Oh my goodness, I don't know lots of vocabulary, my words are very simple. No, simple things are better sometimes. It's not bad. And you don't have to speak difficult to make the person understand that you know the language. So he's just trying to understand, if you are going to an English speaking country, you are going to study over there, or for some job purposes, people need the language at times. So he just wants to make sure that you can survive with the language, you know, because we don't have any other option when you go to another country and they speak that language only. So we don't have any option left. So one more very important tip I want to give to people who are from other countries where they speak more languages, other different languages, I mean, I request you to practice one thing which is very important, because when I taught English to many different students with different backgrounds, even in different countries, I realized that this is a very normal tendency of everybody who speaks a different language other than English. It is a normal habit and practice of people to think in their language and then translate it to English and then speak it. Like, for example, a person who speaks Hindi or Arabic or some other language, Russian or German, what they do, they think first in their own language, then they translate it into English, which makes the language little less interesting, because the way you speak in your own language might not be the same in English. So if you want to make it nicer to hear and with a better sentence structure, I advise you to practice slowly to think in English, so that you don't have to translate to English from your own language. So that is one very important thing before you practice this language and you start to use this language in your daily life. This is a very difficult practice, I should say, but not impossible. Step by step, if you practice, like whenever you think it in English. Don't think in your language. That's what I'm trying to say. For example, chair. The object chair, in your own language, maybe chair is a different word. Chair is in English, we say, right? But in your own language, maybe that is a different word, right? So what I am telling you to do is, when the object chair comes to your mind, don't put that your own word from your own language to your head. Bring the word chair to your head. Okay, that's how we start thinking in English. Think in English, speak in English. Don't think in another language and then translate it to English and then you speak it, because sometimes if your language sentence structure you put exactly to English, it sounds really horrible, because it will be different, obviously. Okay, so this is another point to keep in mind while you are practicing to speak another language like English, because English is very beautiful. It is a very interesting language if you know how to use it in daily life. So start using words, then start making sentences, start talking to people. Don't hesitate to say by thinking that, oh, maybe I'll make a mistake and I'll be embarrassed in front of others. No, it's not a big deal. People make mistakes. So if you think about that, and then don't talk to big group of people. You can just make a small group of 2 to 3 people of your nature, and then maybe those two are your friends, maybe they are your brothers or sisters at home, or maybe that's your teacher, okay, or maybe colleague. So the people you're convenient with, you're comfortable with, practice with those people, because then there won't be any embarrassment, because we are practicing, right? We are learning to speak. So while learning, mistakes are inevitable. People make mistakes. I have seen many educated people making errors while they speak. Those are grammatical mistakes. Those are vocabulary, pronunciation, a lot of stuff you need to um, keep in mind while using a language. So my request to everyone is, first thing, don't keep this big point in your head that you have to use big words to score well in IELTS. That is not true. Second, you start practicing by speaking to the people who are you are comfortable with, maybe your friends, maybe colleague, maybe brother, sister at home. Try to make simple, correct sentences. Just you cannot make grammatical errors, which will really mess up your language skill, so they won't be convinced that you are good in speaking, or people will understand. Sometimes it sounds bad also. Maybe the person will understand you anyhow, irrespective of grammatical error, but it doesn't sound good. So it depends on the person also who will interview you in IELTS. If he thinks that grammar is a very, very important factor, then he might catch you on the grammatical part. So it's better to be in the safer side, not to make errors too much, okay? Make simple sentences, make it clear, and try to understand what he is asking you. If he is asking A, you are replying B, it's not going to happen. He is not going to feel better about it, okay? So whatever you listen from the other person, try to reply to the point. Don't beat the bush around, what I mean. So if whatever he's asking, just try to be focused on that question and reply what he is asking for. So stay to the point, stay simple, make complete sentences. Don't make a lot in your conversation, because the person knows that you are buying time. You're fighting with words or sentences or whatever, or information even. So try not to take too much time from one sentence to another. At the same time, don't be super fast just to prove that you know English. Okay? So be slow, not very slow, a standard pace of talking. Be gentle, use simpler sentences, and try to pass the information the person is asking you for. Okay? So these are the main points what I have noticed in IELTS, because before even sitting in the test, I was also thinking that I should use the big words, but I decided not to, and I wanted to try, you know. Uh, and then it happened. I was a very simple person while talking. I did not, the way I'm talking right now, this is how I talked that day also. And it was a very happy and successful conversation, and I left after 10 minutes, I guess. We talked almost 10 minutes, and we were done. And then I got the result, and it was 8.5 speaking. So 8.5 is a very good score, believe me, and you can get it just by following what I said just now. So please don't be nervous, don't be embarrassed what you are doing. Keep practicing, and don't sit in the exam until you feel safe from within, that you are feeling yourself safe and you are ready for the test. So don't just go and try, let's try this time, let's try another time. Just take your time. If you have time, take it, practice slowly, gently, nicely. Take your time, and just go for it. I think everybody will be uh, successful when you know how to learn. You don't have to listen to all those 1 million stories of people. Everybody has their different experience, but what I experienced was that it was a myth. it was almost a not true statement when people say that you have to be like this to score well. That's why I made this video to share with other people who are planning for IELTS, but they think that their English level is not up to the mark, and that they're a little bit maybe hesitant or worried about their test results. So don't do that. Just practice, be simple, make correct simple sentences, and be friendly. You don't have to be nervous, or you don't have to be overconfident, you don't have to be super fast. Just be yourself. Okay, and I think everybody will do good. Best of luck. Thank you.